Back with you at Scotiabank Saddledome, where tonight the Flames and Oilers met for the second time in this young season. Oilers won it 3-2. Flames defenseman Michael Stone joins us now. A lot of people were cheering for you to get a contract when you came to camp on a PTO, and you did. But let us first deal with something that might not be as well known, but should be celebrated, and that is, even if it did occur 2 years ago, that's your albatross. An albatross in golf is 3 under par in a single hole, so if it's a par 4, it's got to be a hole-in-one, which takes us to the 16th at Mickelson National.
Yeah.
What was the yardage, and what club did you use?
It was a 3-wood, and it was a little downhill, 300 and something.
Yeah,
so
just a 3-wood, right?
Yeah, I actually took all my wedges to the hole because I thought it would have rolled off the back.
Wow.
And dropped the wedges and found the ball in the hole.
Little Happy Gilmore there. You just put it in the hole. It's a lot easier, right?
With my putting, it's a lot easier, yes.
I read somewhere that if you're to hit a 3-wood over 300 yards, your club speed has to be 108 miles per hour, which is roughly the speed of some of your slap shots.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the speed, but it makes sense.
Well, we'll get to that weapon in your arsenal momentarily, but first to tonight's game, Louis.
Well, getting to that shot, you had a few opportunities tonight to get it off. Didn't miss by very much. Just a little bit about the game. I know that was a tough one for you guys to give up in the third period. It seemed like you were playing your game, and you know what? Somehow it just slipped through your hands a bit.
Yeah, we did some good things, and we did some things that we definitely need to work on, and we let that one get away from us. So, I mean...
Shot mentality, though, and that's right up your game. The one thing that you've really started to do on a consistent basis, look at those shots you're taking. It doesn't take you a long time to get it. There was a guy in the back end here in Calgary that shot a lot like that, number 2.
Yeah.
His number's up there in the rafters, and he's he could crush that puck.
Yeah, well, mine's not going to be up there, but I, as a kid, I watched him a lot and wanted to shoot like him. So
Al McGinnis.
Yeah,
people should know. All right, you came to camp on a tryout basis, had to earn your 5th one-year contract. A lot of people thought that you deserved better, but in your case, there was no woe is me in your attitude. Just went about the business of outplaying a lot of younger players to get the deal, which you signed a few weeks ago. Where does that positive attitude come from?
Well, I to be honest, I've just gotten tired of being grumpy and miserable for not playing. So I like to come to the rink every day and put the work in and try to keep everybody else positive as well. I feel like I bring a pretty good energy, and I've always known that I'm capable of playing. So that's
and that's important, right? Because you have to maintain that, especially through those difficult times. You talked about, what was it, 55 games you missed?
Something like that, yeah.
It was a long time. And you, after a while, you start to second guess, but you were able to somehow hold on to that positivity and just keep pushing forward.
I mean,
you're sitting next to a guy who knows a lot about being.
I had healthy spirits. I knew where every press box was in every building, popcorn, which one was good. So I understand what you go through, but an amazing job by you to just continue to push forward, and now you're regular in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I went through the one season with the blood clot, so I missed 3.5 months there, and it's kind of been, like you said, a grind just to stay relevant and earn contracts. So I try to stay positive.
You become an inspiration, though, for a lot of people. BJI here, I think, speaks for a lot of fans. He says, Mike, you came in off the bench, lit it up in the playoffs last year. Preseason, same deal. You're 3rd in team scoring, and we're coming into tonight. How do you stay focused when being faced with such adversity with ice time and contract term? And he says, extend his contract and give him a raise. The fans demand it.
How things turn.
Yeah, to be honest, I never saw any of that coming. Yeah. So it is, it's nice to be appreciated, for sure.
All right. Arnav 2007 says, for Stone, if you signed in Calgary 5 years in a row, why didn't you just sign an 8-year deal?
Well, that would have been nice. I would have done that for sure if it was an option. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Look, you are a responsible defender. You have one of the hardest shots in the NHL. You would think there's a job waiting for you in the NHL somewhere with more security and more money than you got from the Flames. But you have made it clear, and this doesn't necessarily help your bargaining position, that this is the only place you want to be. How would you explain your attachment to Calgary?
Well, I mean, it was a little bit of a mix there. So if I would have had more options earlier in the summer, maybe that things would have been different. But when you get close to training camp, and I got 3 kids in school, and we're settled here, and I'm going to live here for the rest of my life, other than going back home and visiting and stuff like that. But it didn't help my cause for sure. But,
well, your roots in Calgary go back a long way to your first year in junior here. Your wife, Michelle, is from here. Let's have a look at the family. The family is you, Michelle, the twins, Jolie and Wyatt, and Rhett, who is 4.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the kids really appreciate you being, and I think you're an absolute dead ringer for Sheriff Woody Pride. Got the picture here. It's coming up. That's a gorgeous family, by the way.
Great.
Oh, Colonel Sanders, nice. That's a nice
where do you
costume.
get all these?
But how about that?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Those are, my kids are bigger now. That's a few years ago.
Buzz.
All right, let's talk about the shot. It's a consistent threat because of its speed. In fact, I think you've been clocked at one point at 99 miles an hour standing still, as opposed to the 2 or 3 strides that players get to step into the shot at skills competition. So here's a shout out to your hometown of Winnipeg. Did you hone that shot at the Kirkfield Westwood Community Club and the Keith Bodley Arena?
Absolutely. Yeah. There in the driveway, also in Westwood. Yeah. So
you said you damaged some cars along the way.
I did.
Garage doors.
I may have damaged some garage doors, but my brother damaged a couple neighbors' cars. Yeah. So
Carson Fiddick asked then, on the topic of brothers, being 2 years older than Mark, did you have the edge in all the mini stick battles growing up?
For the most part, but I think he's overtaken me for the edge in a lot of things now.
Yeah. Well, the Stone brothers, Michael and Mark, beat the daylights out of the family's garage door in the driveway in Westwood, Winnipeg. And also at times, I guess, out of each other, so we're told. Mark, of course, captains the Vegas Golden Knights. His quote, Michael got the skating ability to play defense, and I didn't, so my dad moved me up to forward. Is that how you remember it?
Yeah. That's what my dad would tell you as well. So sounds about right.
How important it was to have Mark growing up, though? A forward versus the defenseman, 2 guys that now are playing in the National Hockey League. But along the journey, how much did he help you and you help him?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I don't think either of us would be here if we didn't have each other pushing us along. And I mean, he was always the guy that wasn't talked about, and that I think helped him as well. Lit a fire
chip
for
on
sure.
his shoulder,
Yeah, absolutely. His whole life.
You played in the Brick Tournament in 2000 with the Winnipeg Junior Jets. Your father, Rob, bought the tapes of every game you played in that tournament. This is you at the West Edmonton Mall. Apparently, you were the only player in the Winnipeg Junior Jets. But anyway, but he bought the tapes of every game you played in that 10-year-old tournament. And the only person who ever looked at those tapes was Mark. Why was that?
I guess he was just ahead of his time, watching game tape really early, or he just liked watching himself. One or the other.
That's the truth, right?
Yeah, it could be.
You and Mark have faced each other, obviously, in NHL games, but the first time you faced off against each other with a lot on the line was the Memorial Cup semifinal in 2010.
Yeah.
You with the Calgary Hitmen and he with the Brandon Wheat Kings. How tough was that on Rob and Jackie, your parents?
It was not good. We had played them in the playoffs the year prior and beat them, and played them in the playoffs that year just to make it to the Memorial Cup because they were hosting. So that was it was a stressful week or so for sure.
Rob knows greatness. Back in 1977-78, he was the sports writer for the Sault Ste. Marie Star, and he covered Wayne Gretzky in the one and only year that he played for the Greyhounds. That was before he moved into the aerospace industry in Winnipeg. But did he ever play the, you might think you're great, but I saw Wayne Gretzky at 16 card on you and Mark?
Yeah, and he would always bring up stuff that he had accumulated, sticks, signed, and stuff like that. I've never seen any of them. So who knows where those are?
Yeah.
Calgary native Mike Soroka pitches for the Atlanta Braves. Tell us about your friendship with him.
Well, it's not much of a friendship. It's kind of, just shooting texts back and forth when something good happens. I'm a big Braves fan, and he's obviously from Calgary and a Flames fan, so it worked out well that we connected there, and I'm hoping to see him come back stronger than ever.
Pretty big kid too, eh? 6'6".
Yeah.
I mean, you're tall, and he's taller than you. I'm sure he can fire that thing over 100 miles an hour too.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
What came first then, your friendship with him or your diehard devotion to the Atlanta Braves?
Braves before. That's kind of why it all worked out the way it did. I don't really know why I was a big Braves guy, but I guess maybe TBS when we were growing up. I kind of gravitated towards the Braves instead of the Blue Jays.
He's rehabbing now, isn't he, from torn Achilles?
He was on the road back towards the end of the season, and then they kind of shut things down there.
Okay, let's finish with this. You played only 11 games last season.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight was your 7th, 5 points now in 7 games. And some people are of the opinion, hey, Michael Stone is back. But I sense from you that you take the opposite view, that you say, hey, I'm the same guy. I never went anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I like to think that I never really left. I'm just now getting more of an opportunity and doing something with it.
So, Daryl, one thing he did say is that he thinks you're a better player now than when he first got here. The details. Did you feel the same way?
I think he's made everybody better.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just what makes him a good coach. I wouldn't say anything drastic happened. It's just those little things. Yeah. And you can't get away with it otherwise.
Perfect, Michael. That's where we'll leave it. Thanks for your time. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Michael Stone in his 7th season with the Calgary Flames, and it's shaping up to be his best. Back to conclude proceedings at Scotiabank Saddledome